open this one up. By the way, me talking about myself is my least favorite thing in the world.
So as I mentioned, we're switching gears and we're going to have a quick fireside chat with Kenneth Sutphin, the Director of IT at Primo Water. Welcome, Kenneth.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, let's start with some basics. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Primo Water?
Sure. My name is Kenneth Sutphin. I've been with Primo Water for about 13 years now. Done a little bit of everything since I've been here. Some of our databases, coding, IT director, just ERP administration, kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to IT.
An award-winning jack of all trades. You won the Pinnacle Award a few years ago, right?
We did. It was back in 2009. I was part of the team that won the Microsoft Pinnacle Award for Excellence in Innovation. And a lot of that centered around our work with our Dynamics GP ERP system.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks again for being with us today. I appreciate you spending your time with us and sharing your story. I want to give folks a little bit of context of what problem you were trying to solve with TrackVia. So if you could, go ahead and give us a little bit of a background on what it is you were trying to do.
One of the biggest issues we were trying to solve with TrackVia is centered around our cash collection processes on our 20,000 vending machines that are located throughout the country. Using previous systems, we just weren't able to correctly record what we call bag numbers of the cash bags that we're pulling out of the machines. Quick overview of the process is we go and collect cash bags out of each vending machine. Those bags are serialized. They're sent off to a count center to be counted. And we take the serialized count records and match them back up to the services that we performed. When that match doesn't happen or that data doesn't flow properly, it's really hard to get back to your revenue recognition and your cash payments back out to your partners in the field. We were having a tremendous number of errors every month in trying to get those two pieces of data to match up.
20,000 machines. And how many people do you have to maintain 20,000 machines?
We use about 400 to 500 service technicians to service those machines. And what we're using TrackVia for is to record serialized bag numbers that are coming out of the equipment. Those bags are then transferred back to locations to be counted. And what we have to do is match up the counts coming from our count software with the field service collection records that we're taking in TrackVia. And with TrackVia, just the way it's been set up and the way we've been able to design that process, like I said, we're probably down now to less than 5% collection errors. When I started with this, it was probably more around 40 to 50%.
If you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about how you were solving this problem in the past?
In the past, it was really manual. It was just combing through records and records of data. In a lot of cases, it was just we're on some antiquated equipment that really didn't do a good job of getting all the data back to us. And so with TrackVia, that doesn't happen anymore. We're kind of setting up the process in the beginning. We're creating what we call a service visit. And part of that visit is to collect those bag numbers. And so now we know exactly what we're getting back. We know exactly how to go into TrackVia and find anytime we didn't get the right bag numbers back. So it's just the improvements we've had around this process are just tremendous.
That's great. Yeah, I think I remember you guys had some really old custom hardware. Is that correct? And then moved that all over to Android devices.
We did. Yes, we did. Our field was actually using some Windows CE devices. And so really they were using two different devices. We were using some Windows CE devices to do our field service collections on, but then we were just using, kind of flip phones really for communication. So really with TrackVia, some of the things we've actually been able to come back and kind of bring into the modern era is not only are we doing the field service process on an Android phone, we saw tremendous improvements on being able to just communications between the field, because now they can email, they can text, just a lot better communications all around.
So what kind of changes have you made since the initial rollout?
We've made several changes. One that's coming to mind is we were able to quickly go into TrackVia and create some new forms that allowed us to capture competitor information in the field. We have 400 to 500 service technicians who are out and about servicing all our machines all across the country. And probably with an hour's worth of work in TrackVia, we were able to give them an app that allows them to, anytime they see a competitor's machine anywhere in the field, they're able to capture that information and record it. Not only, what competitor it is, what their price points are, but also their
Yeah.
GPS location of those machines. So it gives you a
Wow.
lot of information and a lot of data analysis to see, who's competing with you where, what their price points are in those locations. With that data in TrackVia, we've really been able to kind of hone into certain pockets throughout our network where we're having either issues with certain machines or within services. And it's really helped us improve not only the service of the machines, but also our uptime, which of course is going to lead to better revenue.
Yeah. And that was a process that was being tracked on paper before. Is that correct?
It was. We also do what we call field inspections, where we send managers out to each, to a certain number of machines each month to inspect them. All that was getting done on paper and then kind of pushed manually keyed back into a system. With TrackVia, they can just use their same cell phone that they're using for everything else, record all that information, and now we have it in a digital format that's much easier to analyze.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've had a lot of folks converting old paper processes to digital workflows. Have you done that anywhere else in the business?
We have. Actually, the way I actually found TrackVia as a partner, I was really looking for an AP workflow solution for our ERP system. And the very first time I came across it, I was like, oh, this is going to be a great tool for that. And of course, as things go in business, you never get to do everything exactly the way you want to do. So the business needed the field operations system first. But we came back after we finished that application and we implemented an AP workflow solution using TrackVia. That application has just been tremendous for us to use. We've kind of eliminated the paper trail throughout the whole corporate office. It used to be people scurrying around, dropping off invoices to get signed and get GL coded. You have to, the AP team was having to basically keep track on a spreadsheet of which forms they had out to which group. Now all of that is just done in TrackVia. So instead of someone walking halfway across the building to hand off a piece of paper, they're basically just scanning the document, uploading it to TrackVia, and putting in a few key data elements such as vendor price and dates off of the form into the TrackVia system. And then all that information, along with the scanned document, is getting delivered to the person who is supposed to actually approve the invoice before it's paid. All the decisions of who actually gets that document, it's based on a hierarchy structure of who can approve what limits, what their roles are within the company. So it's really kind of hands off. What you've done is you've given your AP clerks the ability to just key data and then let the system take it from there. And then if you're an approver on that side of the process, it's a lot easier. You're not worried about did I misplace some papers? Did I do anything like that? You're getting email notifications of what has to be approved. You can easily click those email notifications and go right into your approver dashboard, which shows you exactly what vendors you have to approve invoices for, when they're due. We send out alerts if it's more than 5 days, if it's been in the system more than 5 days and hasn't been approved. So it's really become just such an automated hands-off system that's just been, not only reducing paper, but also just improving efficiencies in the whole payment process.
You've also mentioned that you're using an analytics platform on top of TrackVia or side by side with TrackVia. Can give us a little color on that?
For our BI solution, we're using Tableau. So once we have our data in SQL, we're able to just quickly push that into our Tableau reporting instance and build all kinds of metrics regarding services and uptimes. And we really built what we call service stats, which is almost like an entire monthly checklist of what machines we're expecting to be serviced, were they serviced on time. Tons of information we can get from that data, and in the format and with the ease that we can pull it, it's just so easy to use.
Yeah. Is this information that you had in the past and you were reporting on it a different way, or is this all new stuff since you've partnered with us on this project?
Yeah, it's all new. I mean, all of this stuff was built after doing the TrackVia implementation again. Okay. So once we started figuring out how easy it was to collect the data and how to get it back, it just opens up a lot of opportunities on how to use the data.
That's awesome. So we've talked a lot today. We've talked about trapped cache. We've talked about a competitive app in the field. We've talked about inspections apps. We've talked about reduction of paper, and digitizing processes attached to your ERP. And we've talked about reporting. Tons and tons of stuff that you've built on the platform. What's next for you? Where are you going to take it next?
I think one of the things we've done, and I think this is a great ability within TrackVia to still be creative. One of the things we're really starting to utilize the system for is with training materials. We've started building out videos to show our service technicians how to actually perform services on the machines themselves. And even from there, we've started to actually do videos on how to use the application. It's almost like TrackVia has allowed us to be creative enough that it's self-sustaining. You can actually use it to learn how to use it, right? That's a very, very impressive thing. And
that's good.
So beyond just the videos, we're able to put training materials, training documents in PDF form, in Word form, anything that you can really display or any information you can get to your service team on the phone. I think you have the ability to utilize TrackVia for that.
That's awesome. Well, Kenneth, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story today and with everybody else. It's been wonderful talking to you. And I wish you best of luck in all your future endeavors with TrackVia.
Thank you.
You did it. You got through it.
Yeah.
Hug it.